Have you ever just stopped and wondered, what was that very first church actually like? The one started by Jesus Christ himself. Before centuries of different traditions, what was the original blueprint he lovingly left behind for us? Well, today, we're going on a journey of the heart, together, to find out.
To get started on this journey, we're going to begin with a really fundamental question. It's one that I think cuts through a lot of confusion, and it's something many of us are quietly asking in our hearts.
And let's be super clear, this isn't about criticizing anyone. This is a heartfelt quest for truth and for clarity. It really comes from a sincere desire to understand that authentic, original pattern Jesus set up for us, so we can gently clear away any misunderstandings that might have crept in over time.
To find the real answer, we've got to go straight to the source. The only way to truly understand is to go back to the pure teachings of Jesus and see what his very first followers, apostles like Peter and Paul, actually did, just as it's all carefully recorded for us right in the scriptures.
So, where do we even begin this search? Well, we start exactly where Jesus himself did, with the foundation. He laid the cornerstone of his church, not with some big command, but with one pivotal, loving question that he asked his disciples.
I just love his approach here. First, he asks about the popular opinions. What's the general chatter out there? He acknowledges all the different ideas people had, which just shows such a deep and compassionate understanding of where everyone was on their own journey of faith.
But Peter's answer, it was totally different. It wasn't just another opinion from the crowd. No, this was a direct, powerful confession of faith. It was this divinely inspired understanding that Jesus is the promised Messiah, the living God who came to this earth in the flesh to save us.
And wow, Jesus' response is everything. He immediately affirms Peter's words, saying that this profound truth didn't come from human logic, but was revealed by God in heaven. This very confession of faith is the bedrock of the church. It's a spiritual foundation so strong, so divinely established, that the gates of hell cannot prevail against it.
Okay, so with that unshakable foundation now in place, let's take a look at the beautiful blueprint that was built right on top of it. These are the actual practices of worship and life that Jesus and the apostles taught, the living, breathing expression of that foundational truth.
When you look through the scriptures, you start to see these key practices popping up again and again. And they weren't just optional traditions. They were the core teachings that the first believers followed so diligently and lovingly as they walked in the footsteps of Christ.
Just think about this powerful example for a second. Even in their moment of deepest grief, right after Jesus' crucifixion, the women who followed him so faithfully, they still lovingly observed the Sabbath day. This just shows us that the Sabbath wasn't a suggestion. It was an established, cherished practice, following the exact example Jesus himself had set for his entire ministry.
And then we have something so important, the Passover of the New Covenant. The Bible tells us that Jesus was incredibly eager to share this final Passover with his disciples. That's how vital it was to him, because it held the very promise of eternal life through his sacrifice. As we see it laid out here from the book of Luke, Jesus established this deeply sacred ceremony. You see, this wasn't just a meal. It was the seal of a new covenant, a new and better promise between God and humanity. And it was given for all of his followers to keep in remembrance of him, so we could partake in the incredible value of his precious sacrifice.
Okay, so all of this leads to a really big question, right? If these were the original foundational practices that Jesus and the apostles taught, why aren't they common in most churches today? It's a fair question, and it's a really important one that deserves a clear answer.
Believe it or not, Jesus himself actually gave us a way to understand how different doctrines and misunderstandings could enter the world over time. It's a fascinating and deeply insightful story he told, because he wanted us to understand what would happen. So here's how Jesus breaks it down in the parable. He taught that while he was sowing the good seed of truth, which are God's life-giving commandments and the original gospel, an enemy came along and quietly sowed weeds among the wheat. These weeds represent unscriptural doctrines and human-made traditions that can sometimes grow right alongside the pure truth.
And here's the crucial part of his instruction, and honestly, it might be a little surprising. Jesus said not to try and uproot the weeds right away. Why? He said to let both grow together, so that at the time of the harvest, at the end of the age, the truth, the precious wheat, could be carefully and safely gathered and saved.
But here's the absolutely beautiful, wonderful news of this parable. The wheat, the original truth of the gospel, it was never destroyed. It was always prophesied to continue growing, maybe quietly, but persistently, just waiting for the time of harvest when it would be revealed again in its fullness.
So what this means for you and me right now is that we have this incredible opportunity to return to those original teachings. We can learn the very same truth that Peter, Paul, and the first disciples learned directly from Jesus. It's all about getting back to that original blueprint and finding the pure, simple, and powerful truth of life.
And honestly, this beautiful journey of returning to the scriptures to find the truth of life, well, that's what we are so passionate about here at We Love Bible Truth. Our goal is always to help clear up misunderstandings and to share the core teachings of the Bible with a loving and encouraging heart.
So if this exploration of the original church has touched your heart at all, we warmly invite you to join our community. When you subscribe, you can continue this journey right along with us, and by sharing, you help this message of love and truth reach even more people who are sincerely searching for it.
Thank you so much for exploring this with us today. The original blueprint isn't some lost relic of the past. It's a living, breathing truth, just waiting to be rediscovered. And so we'll leave you with this final thought to ponder in your heart. Are you ready to find your place in His original blueprint?